Up. Yep, you saw the title of this video. I pulled a marathon. See, this is my issue, right? Like I haven't actually touched that many Bungie games, and I'm just going off of the praise of the few great ones. And I thought to myself, well, maybe, just maybe, because I was interested in the whole marathon storyline, that it would come full circle and we can have like a game that everybody can enjoy once more. But again, I don't work for these companies. I don't hire their employees. I don't know the internal politics of what happens, inside of the walls of Electronic Arts. Oh, god damn it, man. Fuck, I was so wrong about this. And they were smart. They were smart about it. Electronic Arts went out of their way to hide all female soldiers, all voice lines, and all of that stuff. You actually have to play the game to hear the voiceovers, and I heard it. Holy shit! So it was like on this one battlefield map, and I think there's female soldiers too, right? You hear this girl screaming, and it's like ridiculous. It's so fucking annoying, right? It's like why guys get so agitated when girls and little kids scream because they kind of sound like similar with the vocal cords. It's because that's what we do as guys. We're supposed to run to the defense of the children, of the women, right? So what we're meant to do. Like even though society's trying to tell us that men can be women and they can go into girls' bathrooms and put everybody's lives at risk. Because if it happens to your wife, it happens to like your family members. Like the fuck, right? You don't want that shit. Some fucking guy running into the fucking bathroom. He got on like some poorly, applied makeup and like all this bullshit. You're like, shut the fuck up, man. And like even though like some women could be insufferable, like this idea, right? That like there is no difference is utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. So I pre-ordered from Japan Damon X Machina Titanic Scion. I suggest you do the same because it's better. It's money better spent on Japan than it does on North America, and this gives me a little like. I know GTA tends to be like the most real, like Rockstar tends to be the most down to earth, satirical. Like if video games were a television show, then Rockstar is The Simpsons, right? And it just makes me worry about the quality of their game, GTA 6. Like I don't care exactly. Like I don't care if you could play a female character in a GTA game. In fact, I was expecting that to happen with the whole Catalina, because she's the main antagonist in 3, but she was also in San Andreas. I thought to myself it would be nice to play as like one of the main protagonist antagonists, because like you never actually play like a 100% good guy character. Like the whole premise of the game is you're a criminal that can steal cars, right? So perfect fit for this mob boss light type lady, and she's Hispanic, all the above, right? Attractive, yada yada yada, right? Um, no, that never happened. And the closest we ever got to that was GTA Online, which whatever, right? Now, am I saying that GTA 5 would have been better if one of the characters you can switch to was a female? I don't know if better is the term I'm looking for, but it'll be different. I don't know. Like I don't know for sure. But when you start putting females in places that they don't belong on the battlefield with all this bullshit that we as guys, I don't like the idea of possibly walking on a landmine and then I lost like both my legs or half my torso or I'm just dead. Or like there's this one Metallica song where this guy steps on a landmine and like he's both blind and deaf. Yeah, I don't think you'll want to see that happen to a woman. But here we are, battlefield. This is what I hate about the kidification of video games, right? Like you have a game where you're shooting high powered, like high caliber automatic rifles, machine guns, whatever, right? And every single time you hit the soldiers, like you don't see the same like level of violence and blood and dismemberment as you did in older games, right? For example, Unreal Tournament is on another level compared to Unreal, the remake on the PS3. And maybe they took out the violence, because I remember they had it in Unreal Tournament 2003 or 4 or 7, I forget. Like they had like the sequel to Unreal, but then like and the new engine and all that shit. But it was just that, right? Like you know this weird kind of like way that I thought like this wasn't going to be the case. It was just going to be like the older games. Now, am I saying to boycott Battlefield 6? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. How many times has this stupid ass greedy company wanted to fleece you out of your money, telling you, right, what you want to hear and what you want to see, while simultaneously like knowing that that's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants a girl on the battlefield. Nobody wants like girl screams and like it's just the insufferable nature of it. Like we're here to fight and die, possibly. Like we could die at any given moment as men. And you trivialize it by taking the one thing that we had and plagiarizing it, saying no, women have like how many wars have been fought on this planet, and percentage-wise, I don't even think you can go beyond like a single digit. Like the involvement of women is nothing compared to the involvement of men. And I'm gonna take it a step further. Like, you guys want um like representation, like female representation in soldiers and like fighting in like whatever war zones and stuff. So explain to me why they force men, not women, men in Ukraine. They draft them, right? And if they're trying to dodge the draft, they send men, other men, to pick those men up and force them to fight in the war. Explain that to me, because you fucking can't. And that's why I say we boycott Battlefield 6. There is no Battlefield 6. This is not a man's game. I was wrong once again. And you want to know why I feel so pissed off? Is because I want the younger generation to know that games were always like this. I mean, I think they know. Like, they're not stupid. They have the internet. They can find out for themselves, right? But like, I want them to experience it and like see it in the new, like the fidelity and like the progression of it all. Because again, like it's funny how like DSP actually pointed this out as well. Like the game isn't like 100% realistic. You have, I think at one point you had the acetylene blowtorch or whatever, and you're like using it to repair, and you're like inside of a helicopter, and he's like using it outside of the he's not using it on the actual helicopter. He's just like pointing outside of the helicopter. He's just magically repairing it, or the whole thing where you just like press a button to enter a vehicle and just like clips right into the vehicle. Yeah, even DSC pointed that out, and he's just like, yeah, that kind of takes me out. I'm like, yeah, that will take me out. But like the whole when you fall down from very like high, height, and then you have to do a roll to break your fall, so you don't break your legs. That doesn't take me out at all. In fact, the person who said that takes them out should, not play Battlefield like this. But then again, why should I care? But they put women in the game. Why would you put women in the game? Like seriously, how many drafts were there for women? Like I know it's mandatory for Israelis to serve in the IDF, but I don't think they go too hard on the women. Although I could be wrong about that. But again, like this is one of those things where like yeah, dude, I know that there are like a significant like a number of women in the IDF and like other army. Like the biggest one was I think like there's an entire female regiment that Gaddafi used to have. He used to show off and shit. Like, hey, look at me, I got like an army of women. You don't have that. And like everyone just like laughing at her and shit. It's like look, nobody has problems with girls in video games, right? I literally pre-ordered. I put it up on my Instagram because I was tired of like all the anti like realism, like you know what I mean? Like women shouldn't do this, women shouldn't do that kind of thing, right? Like no, they can. It's just you don't want them to, right? But in a war zone, no, that's the one place you don't want a girl. Like here's the thing, I don't want that. Not only for myself, but for other men. I don't want. It's horrifying. It's the worst place to be. But that's what Battlefield is. It's a simulation. It's an experience. Okay, the best way to describe it is Battlefield in many ways. It's just kind of funny because Electronic Arts actually made this game as well or published it. Dante's Inferno, right? That's what Battlefield is. Like any war zone is like Dante's Inferno. You're literally going into the depths of hell, and you don't know who you can trust. And there's bodies everywhere, and it probably smells really bad. And there's like like there's so many isms about that kind of like thing where, like, let's say, right? And I'm not saying like men don't cry at all or whatever in wars or over their lost comrades or just in general, like because they want to like leave. But what do you do when like women start doing that and enough of them start doing that? Like, what do you fucking smack them? Because I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to, right? Because that's what we expect from our commanding officers. And like, if somebody was in our army and we had a man who was like, crying and shit, and like, basically like causing the cohesion in our unit to like our morale is just dropping because he just can't stop crying. He's gonna get court-martialed. He's gonna get capital punishment. This is the military. That's normal. So when a girl does it, what the fuck do we do? Do we call a girl to smack some shit into her? Well, obviously not, because they're just gonna fucking start talking. You know what I mean? Like, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna come off as like a really sexist video, despite the fact that you probably tuning into my channel thinking that like I'm more open-minded than most. But when it comes to like the realistic affairs of war and stuff, I've seen what happens in that Ukrainian war. It is madness. Like one time I saw, I think it was maybe some Russian snipers and stuff in like a dilapidated like house, two-story house, and I swear to you, the smallest drone you could ever possibly ever conceive. And I'm thinking maybe there was ammunition inside the house, but they flew the drone into the house, and the entire house was leveled. Everything, and like, there's no way that anybody would be able to survive that. And off the smallest of drones. I'm guessing maybe it was like an ammunition storage area, but like, why would you put the ammunition on the second floor? Like, this is like an amateur mistake, like if artillery strikes come and they hit that building, the building will ignite, everybody dies. So it wouldn't be standard procedure to, like, there's two things you do with like artillery and ordnance, right? It comes in these metal boxes to prevent like ignition, um, combustion, whatever. And then like usually you keep them, in the lower levels, like the basement, at least, if not just like the first floor and stuff. But or whatever. I'm just pointing it out as like the insanity of war, right? Now there's a memorial of the fallen Ukrainian soldiers and stuff, like big mural, and it's mostly guys, it's mostly men. Like, yeah, some women are on it, probably. I didn't check, but it's mostly guys. This is something like another YouTuber pointed out. I'm sorry I didn't name them. I don't have like a clear head right now because I feel like I lived through an era of gaming that will never return, right? And it was so magical and so incredible that the best way I can describe it is it takes your pain away. It's like the ultimate buzz, the ultimate like, comfort, where you're just entering into a world. Like, I have a friend who streams, well, yeah, Amatsu Ryu Gaming, right? And he's streaming the new God of War. And as much as I like to support him and watch his streams and stuff, I find, me personally, right, watching that game in particular is extremely boring, right? In comparison to the older titles of God of War, 1, 2, 3, and then Chains of Olympus or something like that. I don't know. Those are the PSP ones, right? I think they came out all like a super special edition for the PS3 in a remaster. I should have picked that up, but I'm dumb. So what we're seeing now is the perpetual forced inclusion of gender roles that do not like have any like application in reality. or common sense. It's like, oh, a woman on the battlefield is most likely going to cause hysteria if she cries, if she screams, if she complains, and then there needs to be like a separate bathroom, there needs to be a separate this and this. It's just such like a logistical nightmare that even if a military could like accommodate a female regiment, it's just going to be your weakest link in the chain because your enemy is going to see that and be like, hey, you got your snipers, you got your artillery, aim for the legs, make sure they scream. It's one of the oldest tactics in the book. You shoot a guy in the leg, you let him like, cry out, call for help and stuff. Some other guy tries to like drag him off, sniper picks him off too. That's how it works. And like when you hear that lady screaming or that woman, that voiceover of that woman screaming in the video game, it's just so charming. It's like I I don't want to play this game anymore. It's like I'm listening to a girl scream. It's like I'm playing a horror game or Battlefield is taking place. Well, I guess storyline it makes sense to be taking place in a populated area, so the civilians haven't been evacuated yet. So no, don't buy it. I forget who said like not to pre-order any games from Electronic Arts. I don't think I was close to because I don't have the time and I don't have like I have friends with we all have different schedules and stuff and like the idea that like we all got to sit down, play Battlefield, get the headsets. It's not the most after a while, it's not the most complicated game to play, but just the idea of like after a while it's going to become like a hyper competitive game where if you make a mistake, you're going to really feel it, as opposed to like those. And I think that's what I was talking about, like the different walks of life in the generations of people who grew up back in the day versus the ones that are now. Like they don't understand that like these things like recoil, respawn time, whatever, right? They exist for a reason, so that like even though it sucks to be taken out of the experience and you have to wait in like a waiting screen, a loading screen or whatever, just to get back into the combat. I know that can be annoying to some, but like if they just keep coming back over and over and over again, like a Call of Duty, like that's what it's going to be like. It's just another Call of Duty game, and I honestly don't even care about the respawn times or anything to do with Battlefield 6 because when you like this is coming from my experience as a guy who works with Blender. So when you model something like that detail, like a lifelike female with the proportions, the facial features, it's a lot of work. And I'm not gonna put it by me that they can take it out of the game and then change it into a man, that person into a man, that girl into a man, whatever. But I don't care. Like they went through the trouble of putting her in the game. The Electronic Arts decide to hide females in the game, right? And it's not worth your money. It's not. It's over. Marathon, Bungie, Halo, now Battlefield. I mean, like I said, Battlefield 2042, not 2142. 2142 is amazing. But 2042 was the worst Battlefield ever. And what did it have? It had quirky characters with personalities. Oh boy, I want to play a Battlefield game so I can get to know my operator because they're so much more interesting than the setting, than the military hardware, than the vehicles, than the environmental destruction, and to like the gameplay features like APCs, airdropping, jets, all that stuff. It's so much more interesting to have this quirky ass character and drops one liners. No, it's not. It is not. People are pissed off, and I was going to go out of my way to make another video. It was gonna be like a light-hearted, but like almost like kind of like this game-ish video of like Hunt the Streamer on like Battlefield 6. But what's the point? Like it's not Battlefield. It's Battle the Rainbow Road of like political brownie points and other bullshit. Sorry, everybody. I was wrong about Battlefield. It's not a man's game at all. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. Take care, I guess, and do not pre-order or buy Battlefield 6.